right, so a mid-segment, that's the first blank. A mid-segment of a triangle is a segment that intersects, that means touch, the midpoint of the legs of the triangle. And every triangle, has 3 mid-segments, okay? A mid-segment of a triangle is a segment that intersects the midpoint of the sides of the triangle. Let me show you a picture. So if I draw a triangle and I put a segment here and it has these markings, that means it touches the middle of each segment. So that's what my mid-segment is right there, okay? And each triangle has 3 mid-segments. So what we want to do is we want to look at our picture and we want to name them. Okay, so the mid-segments of triangle ABC, look at your picture there to the right. I'm going to start with the first one I see. Does everybody see that that's a mid-segment that I just highlighted? What's that segment called? Okay, so RP is one of them. All right, and then I can kind of turn my triangle. Is that also a mid-segment? What's that called? PQ, QP. Order doesn't matter, just as long as you have those 2 letters. And then I have one more right there. What is that one called? RQ. Okay, so all of those are my mid-segments of my triangles. They touch the midpoints of the sides of the triangles. Everybody okay with that? Okay, so the triangle mid-segment theorem says that a mid-segment of a triangle is parallel and it is equal to half the length of the side it's parallel to. Okay? Half the length of the side it's parallel to. So let's say in this picture, if this side here is 10, my mid-segment is half of that, which would make it, what's half of 10? 5. So that length is 5, right? And we can also go backwards. If this mid-segment is 10, what would this length have to be? 20, okay? So if you're given the mid-segment, you double it to get the length of the side. If you're given the side, you cut it in half to get the length of the mid-segment.
When's our quiz or test?
Tuesday. Wednesday. All right. If J and K are midpoints of FH and HG respectively, then JK is parallel to FG. I'm just reading what it says right there. And then JK, is JK my mid-segment or my side? Look at your picture. Is JK the mid-segment or the side of a triangle? Mid-segment. So it is going to be 1/2 the length of FG. Okay, half the length of FG is half the length of that side. So far, so good? Then we're going to talk about congruent, I'm kidding, proportional parts of parallel lines. We have actually already done this one before, but it comes back up again in this thing, and I guess we cut off a lot of words, didn't we? Pay attention to my stuff before I print it, might be. All right, so this is what it's supposed to say. If 3 or more parallel lines intersect 2 transversals, this is what is covered up. Then they cut off and that last word is supposed to be transversals. That's what's cut off there. Sorry. I moved some stuff around and didn't pay attention that it was covering up the words. Okay, so if 3 or more parallel lines intersect 2 transversals, then they cut off the transversals. The last blank is proportionally. So if my lines are parallel, so let's say if line AE is parallel, I'm looking at my picture for this, to line BF, and is also parallel to line CG, then I'm going to write it over here to the side because my blank is a little too small. AB over BC is going to equal EF over FG. And I'm going to let you write it down, then I'll show you in the picture what I'm talking about. Okay, so if three or more parallel lines intersect two transversals, then they cut off the transversals proportionally. So the example that you have there in your picture, if AE is parallel to BF, is parallel to CG. These are my lines here. AE, BF, and CG. They are parallel because of those arrows that are made in the picture. Then we can do our pieces proportionally. AB over BC is going to equal EF over FG. Again, we've already done that part before, but again, it is back again with the proportional parts. Everybody okay with that? All right, and then we have something very similar, but it is also slightly different here. So if three or more is the next one, congruent parts. Ooh, if three or more parallel lines cut off cut off congruent segments, which would be two of them, but we need to say congruent specifically, on one transversal, then they cut off congruent segments on every transversal. Can you see the congruent markings in your picture there? Do you see that AB is marked congruent to BC? Okay. What that means then is because those lines are parallel and because AB is congruent to BC, then we would know that EF is going to be congruent to FG. And that's what we're about to write in words here. So if, first of all, my lines are parallel, so if AE is parallel to BF, is parallel to CG, and if AB is congruent to BC, okay, you can't say they're congruent unless you know the other side is congruent. Okay. Then the ones that we just marked, I'm going to put it below. I don't have enough space. EF is going to be congruent to FG, and all of these letters come from that picture right to the side. If you have three parallel lines and you have two transversals, if you have two pairs of those transversals marked congruent, then the other two parallel or transversal pieces are going to also be congruent. Anybody have any questions? Okay. And I forgot to take y'all's phones away, but most everybody's doing good. That's just my bad. I forgot today. That doesn't mean we're not going to keep doing it. I just forgot. Is everybody ready? All right, let's look at this example. Are we talking about mid-segments or parallel lines? Mid-segments. Okay, so remember, your mid-segment is going to be half the length of the side that it is parallel to. It says EF and DE are mid-segments. Does everybody see DF and DE? I mean, FE and DE. I can't even talk today. All right, it says to find DE, so let's highlight DE. Here's the segment I'm looking. They give me way too much information here. Okay, they give you a lot of numbers to throw you off. Which side is DE parallel to? AF. Well, the whole thing. Not just AF, but AA. What's the whole side? AC. Okay, so it's parallel to this entire side of the triangle, correct? Do we know the length of that side? What does it say it is? 15, right? So if it wants me to find the length of DE, it would be how much of 15? Half. Well, what's half of 15? 7.5. So DE is going to be 7.5, and I got that from dividing 15 by 2. Okay, that goes in 7 times. I divided the 15 by 2 because the mid-segment is half of the side that it is parallel to. That's why I told you they gave you way too much information. I wasn't really looking at the 82. I was just looking at that segment right there, DE. Does that make sense? Okay. Sometimes they're going to throw in a lot of numbers in there just to try to throw you off and trick you. You got to pay attention to what they're asking for and what you actually need from that. Are we good? I was like, where's my picture? All right, we're finding the length of AC, AB, and CB. Might need calculators. Okay, since you have your phones, pull up your calculators on your phones. That way I don't have to pass out mine. Okay, we're going to start with AC. Is everybody ready? Is AC a mid-segment or a side of my triangle? It's a side. Okay, so AC is this entire side here. Which segment is it mid-segment? Which one is it parallel to in my picture? GH, okay. So if GH is 16.25, how do I find AC? Times it by 2, right? Like here I gave you 10 and you told me its side was 20. We multiplied it by 2. So with your calculators, do 16.25 times 2. What is that, 32.5? Mm-hmm. So AC is going to be 32.5. Is everybody okay with that? All right, I want you to look at the next one. Hold on. They want AB next. So here's AB. Is AB a side or a mid-segment? Side. What is its mid-segment? FG, okay. So do the same thing you just did here to find AB. Its mid-segment is FG, which has a length of 19.5. So to find the side, I'm just going to take that and multiply it by 2. And that gives me 39. And then the last segment they want us to find is BC. Okay, is BC a side or a mid-segment? Side. What is its mid-segment? Yeah, the FH, which is 14. So finish that for me. Tell me what BC is. Got 28? Everybody okay with that? All right, get out your homework. I want to do I want to do 6 with you. And then I'm also going to do 11 with you. All right. We're going to look at 6 and we're going to look at 11. Give me just a minute to get the pictures here. Whew. All right, so the directions for 6 tell me to find X. Look at your picture. Where's X? Is that a side or an angle? It's an angle, okay? Now, why are we doing angles with mid-segments? I don't really know, but we're going to do it anyway. All right, look at here. What do we know about this line and this line? They are what? Parallel, okay. And then, so if we focus on this line right here, that's a transversal, correct? X and 57, think way back, are what kind of angles? alternate interior. So what do we know about alternate interior angles? They're congruent. So if that top angle is 57, what is x going to be? 57. Okay, so on that, it's not talking about actually mid-segments. It's wanting you to know that those lines are parallel and then using the relationships there. Is everybody okay with that? All right, let's flip over to 11. That way, you only have to do 5, 7, 8, and 9 for homework. Okay, let's go over to 11. All right, look at your picture. It's telling me to find x and y, correct? All right, I have 3 parallel lines, do I not? Yeah, what other markings do I have? I have some congruence. That 2x plus 1 is congruent to which part? What other has a congruent marking on it? X plus 7. So if I wanted to find x, what would I do to those two? Not add them together. Set them equal to each other. They're congruent. So we're going to go 2x plus 1 equals x. I'm not going to actually finish this for you. I just want to set it up. Okay, so you solve that for x. What about the y's? Would those also be congruent since the other sides are congruent? So to find y, these two pieces are the same. So you're going to go 3y minus 8 equals y plus 5. And I know that because of these two original congruent markings over here. Okay, I'm not going to finish it for you. I just set it up for you. Is everybody okay with that? All right, so you're going to finish this worksheet, 5, 7, 8, 9, and finish 11. That will be your homework for tonight. We have one more section to do tomorrow, 8.6. Then we will review Friday and Monday. We will take our test on Tuesday, and then we will have that 9-week test that I told you about that can replace your lowest test grade. Anybody have any questions? All right, don't